Good morning, children. Good morning, parents. Good morning, school administrations. This is Saudin. In today's lesson, we are going to study overloading. This is clearly a more advanced lesson, and of course, this happens a lot in the chess camps. Now, what is overloading? If you look at this position, you may notice that pawn is protecting both bishop and the knight. So the pawn is overloaded, right? It has too much work to do. And if we take the knight, see now, if the pawn takes the bishop, then a rook takes the bishop, and that's overloading. That means too much work for a one piece to do. Okay, here, let's see the next one. Like in this case, white is threatening a checkmate on h7, right, on this diagonal, and knight is defending the king, right? So knight is protecting h7. But at the same time, there is this pawn on d6 that can move forward to d7 and attack both rooks, and knight is defending uh, this d7 space. But the problem is that knight cannot defend both d7 and h7. So we would say in this case the knight is overloaded, right? It has too much task to do, and it cannot do both. So if you push the pawn, knight cannot capture this pawn because queen goes to h7 and makes a checkmate. Now, of course, after this move, we can take queen, get a rook, and here we just have to run away with the queen because the knight is attacking right now the queen. So after this move, we ended up with more material because we have a queen for a rook and a knight and extra pawn, good chances to win the game. Let's see to the next one. Now, here we have a pawn that is quite advanced. This pawn could become a queen. Now, there is pawn h7 in front of the pawn. Right? By playing move bishop to h5, we are attacking this pawn on g6. If the pawn on g6 captures our bishop, then we push pawn to g6, and we are going to promote into the queen. Black cannot stop two of our pawns. Now try to follow me one more time. If you cannot, then you need to set up this position on the chessboard. So I play bishop h5. If g pawn takes the bishop, we push g6. H takes the g6, and then we push h7 and h8 queen. In this case, after bishop e6, we take this pawn. So there is a clear promotion here, right? If the pawn takes on g6, we would push h7 and h8. Now bishop g8, of course we take, and then again we can push, right? So basically this pawn on h7 was overloaded all the time, cannot handle the task that's given to him. So that's why this is called overloading. And now, of course, we take, and again, we push the pawn, and here, of course, we take the bishop, and we are going to end up with the bishop up and win the game. Okay, let's see the next one. Now, what piece is overloaded here is the queen, because queen is protecting the bishop. Right, we have this attack with the rook. But at the same time, queen is also protecting the back rank. And king can get checkmated in the back rank. So it cannot do both. So after we take rook to e7, queen is not allowed. I mean, it is allowed, but if you take queen e7, then queen c8 leads into a checkmate. So that's overloading. Queen is overloaded. And here, yeah, we can just play move like this, rook c7. And again, the queen is going to be overloaded because even if the rook takes on f4, we're not going to take queen f4 because queen f4 is check, but we'll play rook c8 and we are going to win the queen because rook is not allowed to take on g4. Rook f8 would be a checkmate. Of course, here we just play a check and yeah, that's the end of this puzzle. Let's go to the next one. What piece is overloaded here? It is white to move. We have the attack here, and we also have this attack. So the king is overloaded. King cannot protect the pawn and the rook at the same time. So if you play rook f7, now we can capture on d7, and you see the king had too much to defend and couldn't defend everything, right? And now, of course, we just continue with all those checks and okay, maybe there's another move here. I thought, oh, there's this move. So that's overloading, right? The king was overloaded, protecting both the rook and the pawn. Now let's see the next one. Okay, here we have a overloading. We have overloading with this rook. The rook is protecting the back rank, while at the same time rook is protecting the rook on d7, right? So if we capture queen d7, if we sacrifice the queen, we are going to win the material because now rook e8 is a check, and with this discover check, right? We play discover check. We can take the rook on d7, and this is how we win the material, right? We are going also to win the bishop on b7, or even there's this move like bishop to d5 and then rook f7. So we won the material because the rook on d8 was overloaded. Let me just go back because this kind of typical situation, right? Because you have problems on the back rank, and at the same time you have to protect this rook, right? So the piece that is overloaded is this rook here, right? Rook on d8. Okay, let's go to the next one. Now again, here we have overloading with this pawn, right? So if the pawn is protecting the rook, but at the same time, this pawn on f6 can move forward and become a queen. So that means the pawn on f7 is overloaded, cannot stop both. It's blocking right now the pawn on f6, but after this move, right, the pawn on f6 is free. It can move forward, and that's overloading, right? Let's see the next one. Okay, here we have overloading with a pawn on e6. Pawn on e6 is protecting the bishop on d5, but at the same time, it's also blocking the knight to go to f5. Now, if the knight goes to f5, rook c8 would be a checkmate. So there are different kind of issues here with our black side. The back rank problems, and then the checkmating patterns that we can set up here, right, with the rook c8 and knight to 5. So if you take the the bishop on d5, the only move is to take, and then after knight to 5, there is a check down there on c8. That would be a checkmate. And at the same time, we are attacking the bishop on g3. So that means the black piece is for overloaded to protect the back rank and to protect the f5 square, to protect the bishop on d5. And now, of course, after you take, you are winning because the two pieces are significantly stronger than a rook. Okay, let's see what's overloaded here. Now we have this knight on d2 protecting the bishop, right? But yeah, it's tricky here because if you take rook d2, right? Yes, maybe the pieces are overloaded, but if you take rook d2, rook is not going to capture on d2 so that you can take queen e4. What's going to happen on rook d2, queen f8 is a checkmate. So this is one of those quite tricky positions where we need to be careful. But at the same time, you may notice there is a problem with the back rank. The back rank is a problem. So if the rook can get to d1, then this rook is not going to be able to block because the rook takes on f1 checkmate. There is a bishop on h3. So basically, I'm leading you into this move, right? Queen e4 to sacrifice your queen, and the knight is overloaded because it cannot protect the back rank and the bishop at the same time. So you take, yeah, I mean, if this move happens, then of course we have to take, right? And then we end up with a piece up after we trade. We end up with a piece up. But let's go back just to see that if queen is not sacrificed. I didn't expect this move from the computer to sacrifice the queen. If knight takes on e4, then rook goes to d1, check, rook f1, and rook f1 is a checkmate. So that means knight is overloaded. Let's see the next one. Okay, what do we have here? The piece that is overloaded is a king. Now, king is protecting the knight on c6. King is also protecting the. It's kind of controlling this back rank, right? So basically, if the king goes back down there, then this pawn can become a queen. We have a rook and the queen. So the king is kind of overloaded to protect himself. So after the move rook b7, he has to take, and then queen goes to d7, and white is going to win the material because after this move, that this 8th rank is not protected anymore. The rook is blocked. Now we can push this pawn, and you are winning the material because black king, if black king goes to c7, then we take the rook. If black king goes to b7, then you can play again queen d7 and take the knight. So this is clearly a little bit more advanced combination. And now, of course, you take and you win the game because queen is much more powerful than two pieces. Okay, kids, this is overloading. We are going to have puzzles and positions with overloading where we can practice. This is a Lichess practice. You can find this here in this area in practice. I wanted to just to explain you overloading happens in the chess games all the time, so you need to know what is it. Okay, boys and girls, thank you for listening to me, and I'll see you in our next lesson. Bye bye.